All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Adams Brothers podcast. Happy Hump Day to each and every last one of you out there in Facebook and YouTube land. If you're watching us live right now, thank you for joining us. It's the day before Juneteenth. It's a holiday tomorrow, and a lot of people have that holiday off. I know I do. We are joined here this evening by Vice Mayor Ben Preston. He's going to join us here this afternoon, this evening, whatever you'd like to call it. And we'll just be talking about something that's going on around the city and in District 2. So, Vice Mayor Ben Preston, welcome back to the Adams Brothers podcast.
Thank you so much. And guys, if you will allow me, before we get into anything, I would just like to thank you, Daryl, you, Wayne, for being able to have this communication tool to be able to inform the residents of District 2 and actually the city constituency as well. We've never had anything like this. And I want to just tell you that it's reaching across district lines, and all kind of positives are being established because of you. So because of your communication, you have really helped our city. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you.
We have people come up to us all the time. I mean, you'd be surprised how many times people come up to us and just thank us and just say, we never had anything like this before. So, we're grateful to be in this space,
Absolutely.
to be able to do something like this. And
Absolutely.
we're grateful also to be able to partner with the city to get the personnel here to keep the residents here informed. So again, thanks everyone.
Thank you to the city staff as well.
Yes.
So, all of them.
Yes.
So Vice Mayor Ben Preston, you are not a vice mayor. So why don't you go ahead and we were going to introduce you, but we're going to ask you to introduce yourself. Tell us when you were first elected. Well, why don't you go back a little bit further than that and tell them about when your career as a firefighter and work your way on up to commissioner and vice mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share. And for all of you that are out there that are listening, first, let me say to you, I'm a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. That is number one in my life. The Lord has blessed me to come on a tremendous journey, sharing multiple challenges, and to be able to be put in the position of a servant for you in the city of Deerfield Beach. I became Deerfield Beach's first African-American firefighter back in 1974. I put in 26 years of service. After that service, I retired from the fire department. I entered Florida International University. At first, actually, I went to a school called Fitness Institute International, and that has to do with exercise physiology. I graduated from there as a certified personal training specialist. And after that, I entered into FIU to study exercise physiology. I left FIU with a bachelor's and master's degree in exercise science. I've been training athletes for over 30 years. I came to know politics back in 2010. I won a special election that was given after Ms. Portier was taken out of office. After I won that, I did 3 years. I ran for the re-election. I lost that re-election. And I decided, because the people in Deerfield Beach asked me to run again, they just felt like I would be a better representative. I won that election and overwhelmingly, and then I ran again this past time for re-election, and I won that convincingly. And so here I am. This is the last go around. I got about a year and a half left, 2 years. I want to just say to all of my constituency, it has been an absolute pleasure to serve you, an absolute pleasure to serve. There are multiple awards and things that we have done together. me as your commissioner and you supporting the efforts and things that we're doing, we were able to successfully bring back the Packer Rattlers to the city of Deerfield Beach. We've been able to, I was able to ask the commission to name the building, the Johnny L. Tigner Center. That was unanimous. That will live in perpetuity. Additionally, there are many people, probably some of your relatives, that attended Braithwaite. That was a challenge because a lot of people didn't even know what Braithwaite was. And that's actually a lot of people in District 2. It was a history that was just simply fading away. And, because of the vision that the Lord gave me, and I want to make this clear, the building was part of a grant. That was something that was passed through the commission. I wasn't in office at that time. But I did, when I came back to office and we were building that building, I asked that building be named Braithwaite. And I wanted that because I didn't want history, not only District 2 history, but city history. Braithwaite Elementary was a part of Deerfield Beach's history. It primarily affected Black people, not in a positive way, in a negative way. And some of the people that went there are actually still alive today. And it meant a lot to them. And because it meant a lot to them, it meant a lot to me. And I'm proud to tell you, the building over there is called Braithwaite Center for Active Aging. It too will live in perpetuity. And let me also tell you that I asked the director to petition the state for that to be recognized as a historical site, of which it is today.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you have done. I mean, you've done a lot of people, it's like everyone in office, everyone always say, well, what did they do? I see tangible things that you have done. So, and I say that, and I'll tell anyone that I stand on that. I mean, I seen the tangible things, and I know, people always got criticism, but again, I saw the tangible things you did, Vice Mayor. So thank you.
And you won't be able to impress, everybody. You won't be able to make everybody happy. And it's in my opinion, you've done a very good job of keeping the history of Braithwaite in the forefront, so everybody would know about Braithwaite. I didn't attend Braithwaite, but my father did, and some of my cousins here in Deerfield Beach, they attended. So yes, we want to keep that history alive and well. And thank you for all your hard work and your dedication. And you had a vision and you saw it through. So thank you for that.
Yes,
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, so we know he was the first Black firefighter in Deerfield Beach in 1974. He told you about when he was first elected and as a commissioner, and we are now up to the point where he is now the vice mayor for 1 year currently, and you have about a year and a half left, I believe, and before you have to leave office. And we are hoping and praying that this will be our next commissioner here, my brother Wayne here, to my right, and maybe to your left, I believe it is. So before we get into the questions, what advice will you have for the next commissioner here in District 2 in Deerfield Beach? What advice would you give him?
I would. That's a very good question, Daryl. And I would answer that question in this manner. You must always remember that any position that you hold, it is not about the attention of that position that comes to you, but rather the attention that you give to the position. You are a servant. You are a servant to the people. My advice would be to always put your constituency first, to understand that there are many nights that you're going to eat 11 o'clock, sometime even a 12 o'clock meal. And I'm talking about in the AM. And there are a lot of times where you're going to be, really, dog dead tired, and your phone is still going to ring. If you don't want that to happen, then you really shouldn't run for office, it's never about you. It's always about the people that would trust you to be able to do the job that you need to do. The seat that I sit in at City Hall does not belong to me. It belongs to the citizens in Deerfield Beach, specifically in District 2, who have trusted you to be able to do a job. And the idea is that you always want to do more than the expectation. I like meeting expectation, but more than that, I like exceeding expectations, because there's a lot of things that, the position that you're in, that you can use to be able to help those that really need you to do it. And I know that Wayne and I have had many extensive conversations. He has a great personality. He's a good man, and I know that should he be elected by the people, he will do an outstanding job.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have any response back to that?
I take
Next
all the
commissioner.
advice Vice Mayor give me. I'm gonna continue to. I pray on that knowledge. I all the time. Whether he might sometimes think I'm not listening, I'm always listening and I'm always thinking.
Great.
Well, good enough. Well, thank you for that advice, Vice Mayor Preston. And since we're in the month of June, let's start out with the Juneteenth celebration that was held at Oviedo McKeithen this past Saturday. It was well attended, and I have to say kudos to the Parks and Recreation staff, the African American Heritage Board, all the city employees, the city manager, the commissioners, the mayor. I'd like to say thank you. It was well attended. Yeah, and all the supporting staffs. We don't want to leave anybody out.
Volunteers or anybody else.
The volunteers, everyone did a magnificent job. It was well attended. The biggest crowd that I've seen so far. So
absolutely,
thank you all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to just tell you that. Oh my goodness. To both of you, I'm still getting calls on it, but you know what? I will tell you, I'm getting these calls too. Vice Mayor, yes. Was that just a one-time thing? Are you guys going to build off of that? The constituency is hungry for us to build off. They saw something that they like, and they expect, for us to be able to take that to the next level. But I told them, you play a part in that. And I was asked, how so? Well, we're going to be having our budget review here on July 19th. I'm going to challenge you the
9th, right?
The 9th. I'm sorry.
The 9th.
Yes.
Not the 19th, the 9th.
Okay.
I'm going to challenge you, the constituency, and everybody to come out, tell my colleagues, tell everybody else how much you liked it, because I like to see that theme grow. And I will also tell you this, and this is something that I don't think a lot of people understand. Juneteenth is celebrated differently in the city of Deerfield Beach, and I'm proud to tell you that we celebrate it. When I say different, it is in this manner. On Juneteenth, in the city of Deerfield Beach, City Hall is closed, and the employees have it off with pay. Not so in so many of our neighboring cities and all over Florida and in other states. That's not the case. Will they mention Juneteenth? They will, and they'll talk about celebrating, and there will be celebrations in many other states, and our cities, but not in a bold manner, not in an official manner. In an official way, in the city of Deerfield Beach, there's no business being done, and the employees have it off with pay. So that's different. And by the way, this commission, when I brought that up, when I sponsored that, there was a 5-0 vote on that. Nobody dissented on that. And we did it, I'm proud to tell you, before the federal government did it. They actually did it a year later after it was done in the city of Deerfield Beach. I have received multiple calls from different cities who say, we are trying to follow your lead, Deerfield. I've had some, politicians tell me that they have proposed to do it just like we do it, but they were voted down. They said, no, we can't afford, not, close, down the city or the county. And I disagree with that. You can't afford not to. Okay. One of the things that I said in my remarks on Juneteenth, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The fact of the matter is that wasn't the case in 1863. America really didn't have an identity. You know when they got that identity? In 1865, when all of the slaves were free, those people that were in Galveston, Texas, that were still enslaved by their owners. When they got the word that they were free and there was an expression of that freedom, that's when America actually got their identity. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At that time, it did mean something. Now it meant something because it included everybody. It actually wasn't until December 6th of that year, it actually went past June until all of the slaves were free. And so that's what we do here in the city of Deerfield Beach. And I would hope that at some point, every state, every city will understand the significance of that and follow suit. But I'm proud to tell you that we did it first right here in the city of Deerfield Beach. And it was the first in the whole South Floridian region to be able to do something of that magnitude. And again, it was a 5-0 vote. Not one commissioner or mayor voted against it.
And it was the right thing to do. And the local government agency, the local government that I work for, they followed suit behind Deerfield Beach. And now we have that day off as well. So thank you for getting the ball rolling on that here in Deerfield Beach. Thank you to all the commissioners and former Mayor Gantz and everybody, David Santucci, former city manager, for voting on it. It was the right thing to do, and
took a lot of discussion and a lot of on your part that night. You knew how to, as you always say,
to your colleagues up there on that dais up there.
Yes, and
so
you did an excellent
well.
job that night.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing.
It's and I thank them too. I really do. I thank my colleagues. It's an example of what happens of when we can work together and when all the information is out there and we're not afraid to debate the information. Listen, who wants to talk about those that were enslaved? It's a very kind of dark thing. It's kind of negative, but that's how we get better, by talking about it, taking something of a dark past and bringing it to a presence of light today. That's how we talk about it. That's how we make it better. Because if America is going to ever live up to its promise, it must embrace its past as well. Mm-hmm. And it's out of that past that comes a workable future.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So we thank you for and the city for honoring Juneteenth here in this beautiful city of Deerfield Beach. We really appreciate it. I know the employees appreciate the day off with pay. So thank you. Thanks to everyone. Let's move on to the workshop.
No, I wanted to ask one question before you leave. Sure. As the question is being that it was Juneteenth on Saturday was well attended. What can the community do to? I know everyone keeps saying they want to make it bigger. They want it. Right. They want it bigger than what it was and expand it. What can the community do to lend their advice on making this Juneteenth a bigger?
Good question.
Bigger for to represent the community and everyone else.
That's a great question. I agree, Daryl. That's a great question. Here's what the community can do. It's very simple. We're on June 9th. We're having our workshop, budget workshop. Come out. Challenge the city commission. Hey, I was a part of Juneteenth. I was there. I like it. I think this can be a signature event for the city of Deerfield Beach. We want you to put more into it, put more funds into it. We want it to grow because it's possible for it to grow and really grow. And as you saw, it wasn't just Black people there. There was Black people, there was white people, there were Spanish people. This is a chance to really take a signature event like this and bring people together. But when you ask what can people do, they can come out and say, I want this to grow. I want you to add more to it. And the way that we do that is by adding to its budget, okay? Till we get it to grow, bring in some headline groups, be able to do even a lot more than we've ever done. And that's how it needs to start, and that's how it needs to grow. So if people, those of you that are listening, and those of you that came out to Juneteenth, and you're so right, it was so well attended. People at the time, in real time, were saying, look at all these people. Actually, there was an energy there on Saturday that was kind of awesome. It's you don't feel that and see that, a lot. It was something that was happening there, and I think that was the expression and the energy coming from the people. They're saying, we finally got something that's good, we like it, and guess what? We open our arms to our brothers and sisters, but city of Deerfield Beach, don't fool us. Don't play with us. We like this. Grow it.
Yeah, don't tease us. You gave us a good taste of what can be something great every year.
That's right.
And we want to build off of that. And again,
July 9th, everyone, come
July
out to
9th.
the budget hearings on July 9th. If you would like to see it expanded Juneteenth with more acts, come on out and express that to your elected leadership. July 9th at 7 p.m. And it's at the Hillsborough Technology Center, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. And while we're talking about the budget workshop that's coming up on July the 9th at 7 p.m. Hillsborough Technological Center. I'll get tongue twisted here. But there's a question here. Let me stroll back up here a little bit.
Okay.
There was a question from Denise Santoro. She said, is there any resources for District 2? So that would be a question for you to come out to the budget workshop and to ask for what specific resources you're talking about. Am I correct, Vice Mayor?
And see what's being presented.
With the last budget, there are a number of things that I'm proud to tell you that is, happening in District 2. District 2, there is, a multiplicity of projects that is happening. Number one, let's talk about the drainage. We have a drainage project that's happened along MLK, which has been a long time, in the making. I've been pushing the city to also take a look at identifying a lot of the unsafe structures that attention needs to be paid to in District 2. And there is, in District 2, there's going to be a mural. Okay, you obviously know about the 100-year centennial celebration that's coming up. We're getting ready to add a new mural on the side of the Leo Robb Gym. That's important. And that centennial project is going to be over there at the park. I'm really excited about that. And when you talk about, those kinds of issues, I want to challenge people to pay attention, because as you guys know, you talk about what's going on in District 2. One of the biggest things that ever happened in this district, one of the biggest things that's happened in my district, and I hope you, the constituents, are listening. We renamed Triple C campus. And if you don't know that campus now is the Bernard Adams complex, that's not good that you don't know that. That was big that happened. When you say that, that's big. And I've got some ideas about how to, look at how do we grow that. In other words, naming a complex after your father,
Mhm.
I'm all for it. I advocated for it. But
Mhm.
guess what? It shouldn't stop there.
Mhm.
Okay. And so when people ask about what is going on in District 2, those are some of the things that are going on. You got the 1045 project up there.
Yes.
Mayor Howard Park. There are funds that are secured to be able to redo that park. There is a multiplicity of projects that you, the constituents, have come to me and said, what's happening, and I get it. For a long time, District 2 wasn't up to snuff. The attention that should have gotten, it didn't get. But you know something, we're working together right now. You, the constituents, and me as commissioner / vice mayor right now, we're working together as a team. I'm able to take your concerns and take your voices and put it into real projects and give it attention and make our district better, not just to make it better. I want the constituency, the residents of District 2, our children, okay, to
Mhm.
be proud. Listen, your father, obviously, I'm not telling you anything you don't know historically, that your father was one of the founding members of the Packer Rattlers. The Packer
Mhm.
Rattlers for a time was gone. After 40 years of
Mhm.
history, they couldn't even play on the field. But praise God, they're back. They're
Mhm.
back. And you know what? The enrollment is growing, and it looks like we're going to have, a great year. And let me also tell you, this was passed by the commission, so nobody out there, you should actually be happy. But if there's somebody out there that's a hater, hey, you go ahead and hate if you want to. But the city have absorbed the cost for this first year so they can get back on their feet. Listen, the Packer Rattlers is part of history. It's
Mhm.
part of history. You want to know what's
Yeah.
going on in District 2? There's a lot of positive projects. The Braithwaite Center is, the numbers are jumping off the page. It was, at one time, you had less than 10 people involved in that. Thanks to Jonathan Salas,
Alice, yes.
the,
Good guy.
the director over there, it's booming. So I'm going to just say this. We have a lot to be excited about what's happening in our city, but even more so in District 2. And when I mentioned the 1045 project, that's the big open lot right across from Mayor Howard Park. That is going to be a signature project
Yes.
in District 2. All that's happening now, because they're getting ready to bring forward some things, and we're hoping that it will be escalated. So the first step is getting county approval. And that's what we need to do. Get that approved from the county so we can get that project working and get that moving. Because it's going to bring jobs.
Yeah.
It's going to bring some entrepreneurial opportunities for a lot of people. But in saying that, it will include minorities. And that's what we want. So we're on the move. We're on the move, and we're creating the groove.
And I was just going to ask you about the start date, but you just said that you're waiting on approval from the county. So
Yes.
the city can't do anything without the county's approval.
That's right. You can't. You can't do anything
the
without
people
the
that want to
county.
know, they can't do anything until the county approves it. Okay.
That's right. And when the county looks at that project and they stamp their approval on it, we can start working. We can get moving.
So
Yes.
if anybody has a problem with how fast it's moving, you need to call your county commissioner and tell them they need to move it along. And
That's right.
And then it's not the city's fault. They're waiting on approval from the county. So anybody that's interested in that, if you have any gripes about how slow it's going, call your county commissioner, not your city commissioner, your county commissioner.
And also, Commissioner Preston, I wanted to touch on a few things you just said just now as far as projects going on. One project that I see was put up by the city is the MLK drainage. Also, it included in that saying that there's, I don't know if it's a proposal, but saying that MLK, and it's important the people out there understand this, what I'm getting ready to say. Currently, MLK right now is 4 lanes. in that proposal of the drainage, it talks about going back to a 2-lane road with a medium in there. Now, I just want to say this. I saw that added in there, but that was something that I thought we discussed back in 2021, and that was agreed to be taken out. I'm noticing that 4-lane is put back in there, and 2-lane is put back in there. And I just want to say this before you answer. I want to say this. I don't know if people understand, and I know a lot of people want beautification over there in that area. They wanted bike lanes, and I remember being told back then in 2021 they were supposed to squeeze the lanes to put a bike lane in, but that road is heavily congested. Deerfield Beach is getting bigger, not smaller, and I don't understand why would a proposal be put in to go back to take that back to a 2-lane road when the residents 40 years ago, and I can remember when it used to stop right there at Deerfield Park. I remember we used to go hunt birds there when I was a kid. And I remember people, when they first did it, I remember people asking for it to be put like a 4. Why would we even think about going back to a 2 just to get some other enhancements? And do people understand that road is heavily traveled, especially during school days? You got the city trucks coming over there, and just think, you got the rattlers back out there, events going at the park. And I just say this, I think that is a terrible idea to make that a 2-lane road, but I'll let you expound on that further.
Well, I think it's deplorable. And you actually hit on all the reasons, Wayne. All I would do if I was repeating what you said, I would just reiterate what you said. See, here's what has to be considered. Deerfield Beach is not shrinking in numbers, it's growing in numbers. So whatever congestion you see there now, multiply that by 5, 6 years, 10 years. Okay, it's going to be worse. In other words, you will be forced at some point to go into an expansion that you could handle now, that you're going to cost the taxpayers down the road. They're going to have to pay for it, because it's going to actually get to that point where you just won't be able to get anything through there. This is the time that when community meetings and we're discussing this, for people to come out and say this is completely unacceptable. This is where voices need to be heard, because that plan is not good, of shrinking, going back to a 2-lane. I don't care the benefits that you can talk about as far as the beautification is concerned. What really moves the numbers? It's not the beautification, but rather accessibility from one point to the next point. And so if you're a city road like that road is jammed up. Do you remember when they were doing the when they took away the lane on Hillsborough Boulevard? Remember that?
Yes, and it's a disaster out there still right now.
That's right, exactly. Okay, now that's not going to go away.
No.
Okay, it's not going to go away. What's going to happen is that at some point the city is going to be pushed into a situation where they have to deal with that. And here's the other part about that, why it is not good. Could you imagine if you go to 2 lanes and the fire department or police department has to access that road to get to somebody? You have just now taken their arrival time and you've added 2-3 minutes to it, which could be critical in life or death.
Yeah.
No, this is the time for people to stand up and say, no, that's unacceptable. And here's what we have to do.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what you were saying, at one time we used to host the Mango Festival out on MLK.
Right.
And could you imagine hosting a Mango Festival on a 2-lane road?
Right.
Why would you want to go back to that? And then you had some people here in the community. Our father, he had a little fender bender over there on near
2017
and in 2017. And some people in the community wanted to run and make that a reason why that they should condense it down to 2 lanes.
Well, we know the architect of that.
Our father had an accident over there, but our father didn't he would never ever endorse that. So the people that would maybe in the future want to get up and speak about Mr. Adams having a little fender bender, Mr. Adams would never ever endorse anything like that. So
and he said
I
it
just
back
wanted
then.
to put that out there.
He said it back then.
Don't use our father as a reason to condense the lanes down and squeeze them down to 2 lanes. Don't use that.
And that's what it was did back then. That's what the architect of that back in 2000, that person back in 2017 used my father as a means to say that, the speed, I see people speed. They speed all over the city. Yeah. They just don't speed here. I mean, they just don't speed on That's MLK. Right. They speed on Hillsborough. I hear the former Mayor Gans talk about the speed, used to talk about the speed all the time. I mean, I just want people to just understand. Look at the disaster down there and I know it was well intent by North Broward, going to North Broward. I mean, it's a disaster down there. Something has to be done about that. Right. Going to North Broward, but just think of MLK with 2 lanes. I mean, I don't understand the rationale. And I asked the question on Facebook yesterday, and I seen people, person came on there and say 2 lanes is fine. I don't understand their thinking, but they entitled to their opinion. I just don't understand why any reasonable minded person would. A city that's right now around 80,000 residents, I believe, and that area is growing over there. You got development that's probably going to come in some areas over there. So why would you want to go back to a 2-lane? It makes no sense.
Some of our viewers are also saying traffic will be horrible, and it will.
And it will be. But something, it's just not the inconvenience of traffic. But one thing before I say that, Wayne, you said that, 80,000 people. We're actually closer now to 90,000.
90,000.
We're closer to 90,000 people. But the other thing that I would say is that you are delaying movement on that road. If you had a problem at Deerfield Park Elementary and you got a traffic jam, right now there's 4 lanes. There's a good chance that whatever issue is there that may need police or may need fire, they got a good chance to get there. You shrink that down to 2 lanes, and then you have actually shrunk the time, you have increased the time that it will take for any of those life-saving agencies to get there and to be able to do their job. And what about access into the community? 2 lanes? You put one, okay, going back to what you're saying, you put a fender bender in there, you're in trouble.
Yes.
I
don't understand.
That could conceivably back all the way up to Hillsborough Boulevard. So I'm with you guys. That's something that as this project, as it begins to unfold, we have to fight and fight and fight. And that's when people have to come out. And let me just tell you something. Don't wait, folks. If you're listening, don't wait until they actually start creating the median strip. The time to talk about that is right now.
On June 30th, they're having a meeting at the Johnny Tigner Center on that drainage, to talk about that drainage. Very important, people. Monday, June 30th. Come on out and put that in. Come on out, people, and speak against. Let's shoot that down. That shrinking MLK down from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, and that meeting is going to be at the Johnny Tigner on June 30th. So people come on out. And let's lay that to rest once and for all.
And we have
7 p.m. folks. That meeting is at 7 p.m. at the Johnny L. Tigner Center. And as Wayne just said, please come out. Let's beat that down.
We have a comment from Mike Dennis. He says, the county is pushing the lane diets. It works in some places and it doesn't in others. As a commissioner, I would think he could get these answers before this plan even gets to this point. So that's a comment from Mike Dennis. I'm not sure who that is, but he left that comment. So the time to come out and let your voice be heard. You need to come out and let the commission and the mayor and the city manager and these officials know that you are for it or you're against it. I don't know why someone would be for it, but for some reason, some people think that we need it over here, and we definitely don't.
Well, the architect of it will have her people out. I can tell you, I know who they are. So the architect of that will be there. I can guarantee you she will be there, and she will have her people. So we need just as many people here to shoot that project down. I mean, I thought in 2021, as I said earlier, that it was put to rest, that we didn't want it. I mean, by response, and somehow or another, I see it creep back up in there when I was reading it. So, it is what it is. Monday, June 30th at 7 p.m. at the Johnny Tigner Center. Come on out and hear the plans for the MLK drainage project and the talk about the lanes, the going from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. So come on out and we can move on from that.
And let's talk a little bit about the street lights that are out. We don't have to go into details about what's being done, but for the people that calls us all the time and they're complaining about being in the dark, Vice Mayor, is there, and you would say that there is something being done about the lights, is something the city is working on, correct?
Correct. The light issues, have been an ongoing thing. And sometimes what we found out that is sometimes it's a city issue, but a lot of the times it's not. And what happens, excuse me?
It's regional.
Yes, right. And I personally advise the city whenever the reports have come to me, and what they do is they get on to FPNL, and they tell them the problem. The problem is because FPNL is in the position that they're in, I don't know, I don't really want to make excuses for them, and I'm not going to. But this is what that is like. Okay, we hear you, we know this, and then they put you on the list to be able to do that. And sometimes when we scream loud enough, they will come out and address the issue. But whenever it's a city, if it's a city light, that's easy because we can be able to deal with that just like upon request, basically. But a lot of the time, what we find out is that it's not under the city control to be able to deal with where the complaint is, that it's in fact FPNL. And make no mistake about it, we keep the pressure on them. But the only thing is we can't drag them out of their offices and make them do it. Right.
Yeah, they're governed by the state. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And also the 10th Street project, I'm sure that there's going to be, will there be any improved lighting along 10th Street? And if so, will these lights be more theft proof? If you know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know some improved lighting. I know they're going to add some improved lighting.
Whether those improved lightings are theft proof or not, I don't know. But I will say this: being that we know that we're having some issues right now, that we're having some problems, and so that what that means is that any of the concepts going forward is something that should be taken in. We should be very cognizant of all that's happening. That as we go forward, that we can eliminate those kinds of situations. Be mindful that when we implement something new, we ought to have, some sort of, I don't know if you can say theft proof. I don't know if anything is theft proof.
Yeah, I shouldn't have used that word there, but I should have said make it harder for them to steal.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And also, Commissioner, got a question in the chat, and this was definitely one of my questions. I'd already spoke to Darryl prior to us coming on. I'm trying to understand, and me and a lot of other people are trying to understand, and maybe you can help us, because I don't think we never ever been given a response on why is the gate at the back of the west of the Tigner Center is closed now, and we saw a police car coming through there, because I mean that gate has been open for years now after being closed. I remember Larry Dejan put that gate there, and he put it there back in I believe the early 2000s, and it was put there actually for safety. And I heard people saying, well, it's a lot of traffic come through there, but they knew from the beginning that traffic was gonna come through there. And we're just trying to get an answer. And a lot of people in the community want to know, especially me. And I'll say right now, before I even go any farther, I'm totally against that gate being closed during the day. You can close it at night, but I'm totally against it being closed during the day at the back of the Tigner Center. And if you can expunge on that, it would be greatly appreciated, Vice Mayor.
It'd be my pleasure. I agree with you. And just for the record, I want to let you know, Wayne, Daryl, I have talked to the city manager about that. And so that's conversations that I'm having right now with him. He brought up some things of, we went back and forth about advantages versus disadvantages, perceived advantages, perceived disadvantages. And so that's a conversation that is taking place right now. I would rather that gate be open. I would rather the community have access and exit. Now I'm going to just tell you what my feelings are. It may not be yours, but here's my feeling. The minute you close it, you now only have one way in and one way out. That's it. One way in, one way out. The problem is that if you had a real emergency, something catastrophic, could you imagine that little tiny street, people trying to get out of there? Okay, it would be disastrous. The thing is that I would rather them, like you say, I'm okay. If you want to close it at night or something like that, So what I'm telling you is that I will continue to have conversations with the city manager and BSO to be able to explain why I think that will be a better benefit for the community if that gate is open.
I would say that if you were to take a poll, I would guarantee you the community would be highly in favor of that gate staying open, because it's sometimes when I'm out there, I use it and I just go out that way, maybe to go back to my house, but it's more than just having one way in and one way out. And I look at it as an advantage for this community. And again, I don't know the administration reasoning for at least closing it. I don't know. I would like to know. I've been asking, and everybody been asking. We're out there. Everyone always asking. Everybody, and I think the community deserves an answer to know why. And if it's something that, bring it to the community, bring it out there to the people in this community. I don't think it's just fair to just go just close the gate down and don't say anything. That's just me. I'm gonna leave that right there.
Well, you don't leave it right there. I think this is something that the community. Here's a challenge for the community. On every city commission meeting, there's a part of that meeting is called the public to be heard, and that means you're able to talk on anything that's not on the agenda. Okay. If you feel like that back of that gate should be open, you either log on to the meeting or come to the meeting. And when it comes to public to be heard, express your opinion. And I will tell you this, when you hear from, people about whatever the issue may be, it makes a difference. It says this, it tells you that the community is in concern, something, they're challenged with. The minute you come to a meeting and express your opinion, you have gone from thinking about it or wondering about it to becoming engaged. And the more that the community becomes engaged, asking questions, listen, I want to understand in totality why this decision is made. It begins to move the needle a little bit. I think that gate should be open. And like, I agree with you. If late at night, 12 o'clock, whatever, you want to close it, okay, I can see that. Obviously, traffic is down at that time. But if there was something catastrophic, when we have an event out there and that gate is closed, it's not good. Now, I don't know if you noticed, on Juneteenth, it was open.
Yeah. No, I didn't even go back that far. I stayed in the front.
I thought it was closed. I told my wife we were going home. And so I said, we need to go down here and turn around because I just assumed that it was closed. But when we got to the end, it was open. And so we took the exit. And by the way, I stayed there just watching a little bit. It was a tremendous traffic relief. And so
Yeah.
it would be more functional for Johnny Tigner Center if that gate is open and you have access to, you have entrance and egress. That's would help the community.
Lawanda says there's also a medical center and a nephrology center over there, and we have several dialysis patients that use that gate.
Yeah, our doctor is over there.
My doctor is in there,
right.
and I have to be honest. When I leave my doctor's office, which is right in that medical plaza over there, when I leave there, my podiatrist is there. When I leave there, I use that gate, and for me to have to go behind and go behind the plaza where the McDonald's is right there, and go over all those speed humps just to get back to 3rd Avenue, I'm not in favor of that. I think they should open the gate. If you want to close it at night, look at the pros and the cons and how many people you're affecting by closing that gate, and make
it's
a good
something
decision.
needs further discussion, but I also want to read a comment, and I want to expunge on this too. Mike Dennis said, why do residents have to go to a commission meeting to be heard? Respectfully, you are the commissioner. You should be able to make the argument for your residents. If you don't get buy-in from your colleagues, then bring the residents out. I disagree with the suggestion, and I just want to add to say, I to a degree agree with some of what Mike Dennis said about I don't think we as a community should have to all the time go up there. That's the best way. What you're saying is the way government should, and I agree with you there, Vice Mayor. So I just wanted to say that. But we were down there at your district meeting, and that was brought up about it. And I think that was the perfect time when the community, the question was asked there at your community meeting at the Tigner Center. And I remember I asked that. The question was asked from the back, and we still didn't get a definitive answer down there then. So I agree with what Mike Dennis said. We were out as in the community, and we made it known that we didn't like the gate being locked back then. So I'm just saying, I don't know. And that's just my thinking now. Well, why would I have to go to a meeting when I made it very clear, because the city manager was right there that night. And if others in the back made it clear about the gate. So that's my way of looking at it. But I understand what you're saying. To come out is power in numbers, to come out and make it known. But I agree with what Mr. Dennis said definitely to a certain degree.
Well, and guess what? I agree with Mr. Dennis to a certain extent, but I'm going to also tell you there's another side to it. And that side is this. This weekend, you just saw millions and millions and millions of people all across the country, in every state, millions of people. Now, you could theoretically take that argument and say the concerns of the people, which we don't want. I mean, the theme of it was no Kings Day. Well, theoretically, you could tell your elected officials, your representatives, your senators, we don't want kings, and then let him bring that to the floor. But it's a bigger statement when you have millions and millions of people that are marching, and it becomes a visual thing. So when you have a commission room that's full, and I've seen this happen, where people from Century Village, or it might be District 1, are having an issue with something, there is much more concern just by numbers. Sometimes those numbers are intimidating, and they can move the needle. Now, if I bring up something, and that is, I got no problem bringing it up, but when other people are coming behind me and say, I agree with my commissioner, I agree, it changes the dynamics. And I have no problem bringing that. I just said that I sat down with the city manager, and I've had these discussions. But I'm going to tell you, when I remember when the Piker Rattlers were gone out of the city of Deerfield Beach, okay, when everybody came to the meeting, I heard I could see my colleagues, they were concerned. What are they here for? What's going on? It
Mhm.
changes the dynamics when they see a bunch of people, all unified on a certain concept. And what do your senators and a lot of the people that we elect, they tell us on the local level to organize. You know why? Because numbers matter. That's why. Okay,
Mhm.
you can get your elected official to bring something forward, but the point is that when you get buy-in from those constituencies, it moves the needle in a way that the other people that might be voting on something say these people are serious about this, and you're seeing that right now, such a concern because it's all over the news. Millions of people marched across this country because they were concerned about a particular issue.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, indeed, and that's very correct. I would suggest too, Commission Vice Mayor. Back in the days, I remember we had it a few times in the past when I believe when Larry Dejan was here, we had something where just like Pompano have called where we had town hall meetings. And that was where everybody from every district was able to come and voice their grievances outside of the chambers of the city commission. And they were very effective back in those days. I would like to see those same town hall meetings like that me and Daryl see in Pompano all the time. And they are very effective, and people from all the districts are able to come there and voice their grievances. I would like to see something like that maybe in the future. Have it set at a location and just have those town hall style meetings like you see going on actually across the country right now.
Correct.
All right. Mike Dennis said, but the closing of the gate isn't being voted on. Take the lead and say no. If they go against you, then they will come out. They will come out for you.
Well, just let Mr. Dennis know is that if he was listening, I
Mhm.
have taken the lead on that. I told him that
Yes, you did.
if he was listening, I've talked to the city manager about this. And by the way, that's not a commission decision, by the way. Okay.
Mhm.
That's something that the commissioner can say that he disagree with. The commission don't have the authority to say we're going to close this gate or we're going to open that gate. That's not how it works. That's
Right.
that's done through safety. And if the criteria is such that they believe that it's more advantageous, whether this commission believe it or not, they can keep it like it is. They might be able to actually look at the situation though with an open mind and say, you know what, we can open that gate or whatever the situation is. But I have actually taken the lead on that and took the lead on it actually before it became an issue.
I have two quick questions before we let you go. We have Mayor Drosky coming up at 7 p.m. So I have two quick questions. One about the substation, BSO substation that's out at the Johnny L. Tigner Center. When is that? Do you have any idea when that'll be up and running, and when you can go there and pick up a police report or something like that? Or
I don't know if they'll
No,
do all that.
I'm the one that asked that we create that there. That I don't know what BSO, their full scope and their vision is to have
right?
that. I
Okay.
think that that's something that they're looking to, trying to work through administratively. I certainly can ask,
Right.
and have a better answer for you when I talk to some of the chiefs to see when that could happen or if in fact it could happen. But my main thing was that I asked for that substation to be put there as basically a deterrent for the
Mhm.
issues that we were having at the time.
Right.
And for it now to be a fully functional substation, I don't know when that's going to happen.
Right.
And I was told because I had that, I don't know if you remember, but I had that substation name for
Yes,
Deputy Harold Morrison.
Morrison. Yep.
And I had the street name that for him as well, because
Yep.
he was such a tremendous person. So hopefully, what we
Yes.
can do is that I would let you know I will inquire about that and to see if that can be a fully functional substation. And because if it was, it would be a benefit to the community.
Yeah. And my final question for you would be, well, really, it's for. I'll be reaching out to Chief Adam Hoffstein about the
Yes.
Dixie Highway speeding because I exercise up and down Dixie Highway, and I can tell you the people coming out of Boca Raton, going down to Pompano, and Pompano going into Boca, I could guarantee you they're going 70 to 80 miles per hour between Hillsboro and Sample Road.
Oh, they be out there.
And I walk between 15th Street and Hillsboro, and I can tell you they're going 70, 80 miles an hour easily. I don't have a radar detection device, a speed detection device, but I can guarantee you they need to slow down, and I would love to see them out there, some motorcycle units
they
out there.
Writing, they out there every day.
Writing more tickets because it's getting crazy. They zoom past me so fast, man. I can tell you, wow, it's we need some more enforcement along Dixie Highway. I'll be reaching out to Chief Austin.
And they're out there, Vice Man. I wanted to say, I come down that road during the day, and they're out there. I mean, it just might. Of course, they can't sit out there 24 hours a day, but they're out there doing the peak hours of traffic. And believe me, I saw them with lines of people stopped out there last Thursday or last Friday. So they are out there. I just wanted to make that known. And also, Commissioner, I want to say this, and then want to get you out of here on this. We have over the years throughout this county, especially Deerfield, Pompano, seen a rise in costs with the sheriff department coming, the budget of the sheriff department continuing. And I know the overall law enforcement budget is continuing to rise, not just here in Florida, but all around the country. But here in Deerfield Beach, I know Pompano is looking at right now, exploring bringing back their municipal police force. What are we going to do as far as trying to keep our budget down? And I'm not sure of the actual cost Deerfield Beach pays the sheriff office, but it's rising every year. And I just talked to someone that showed me an internal memo where the cost is looking to go up. I thought I saw 3.6% or 6.3% another throughout the county. I can't remember, but I remember the person showing it to me here about a week ago. But I'll say this. I'm for keeping BSO here, but at some point, what is going to be the cutoff line for the rising budget of public safety, which takes up about, if I'm exact, 60% of our budget? There got to be somewhere where I think the city is just going to have to make a firm and just, say no to a lot of things, a lot of requests coming from the sheriff department. And I just wanted you to expunge on that. And I just wanted to ask, would you be in favor of exploring, just not saying you're going to vote for it, but exploring to take a look at the numbers of going back and to our sheriff department? And I just want to say again, I'm not for us going back, but I just want to know that from you.
If you can answer that in about 3 to 4 minutes, we'd appreciate that, Vice Mayor.
Okay, not a problem. I think that you always have to look at the escalating cost of anything. Listen, we want our citizens, all the citizens of Deerfield Beach, taken. We want them to make sure that they're cared for. We want them to have top-notch service. That's actually what you're paying for. But you know what we don't want, gentlemen? We don't want any of our citizens to be taken advantage of. Okay. Exactly. And so, listen, what does that mean? Well, you know what? The people have to decide what that means. If we have to go to referendum, if you have to say we got to take back our fire department or take back the police department, like in the case of Pompano, what they're exploring, the people will make that decision. What I would hope is that the escalating cost of public safety, listen, we understand that the cost is going to go up and up. It's never going to go down. So the citizens of Deerfield Beach ultimately may have to make a decision on that. I'm with you, Wayne. I would hope that we can work these things out, but I don't care who it is, that we're dealing with. We are not going to allow the citizens of Deerfield Beach, as long as I'm in office, to be taken advantage of. They're going to always have a voice to be able to say, even if it doesn't go their way, they're going to have somebody, because I'm going to be one that says it, is that we have to think of their pocketbook. We want them to be safe, but we also want to think about how much comes out of their wallet. Is it right? Okay. Is it fair? Is a better term. Is it fair? And that's what we have to look at, because in the end, listen, we want the protection. We want to make sure everything is good, and we understand that there's a cost to it. But if you keep escalating, it forces another conversation that you got to have. And
That's where we are right now.
That's right. And that conversation could be uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
ultimately, and I know, you can't take back your fire department without a cost.
Mhm.
That cost is going to be good. Are the citizens willing to be able to put up the tax dollars that they're going to have to recreate? Or do you say, I'm okay with the escalating cost that's going to go up every time from the BSO? It's a tough situation to be in, but I think that we should always be thinking of the constituents. We have a pretty elderly population here in Deerfield Beach,
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. And let me tell you, you have to keep that in mind. And so as we go through this process, BSO has done a good job, and I understand all of the good things, but I just hope they will understand that we have a constituency in the city of Deerfield Beach that just can't afford for that cost to go up. You give us great service, continue to give us great service, but give it to us at a fair price.
Yeah,
And that's all I say. That's what I say too. I mean, the cost is escalating out of control, and that has to be addressed at some point. We just can't keep, as former Mayor Bill Gans and others say, keep kicking the can down the road. We got to address that at some point.
And yes, and a lot of people feel that ultimately they will be taxed out of their home, and they won't be able to afford to live here anymore. So that's why we're asking these questions, because people ask us, so no better people to ask the questions to other than our elected officials. We're going to ask the mayor. We have him coming up.
We're gonna get him. We're gonna
ask him the same question. So Vice Mayor Ben Preston, we want to thank you,
Vice Mayor, for always coming on
our podcast. You're always welcome here. Any of the elected officials, and not just Vice Mayor, the mayor. We have, like I said, we have Mayor Todd Drosky coming up next. All the commissioners here in the city of Deerfield Beach, the city manager. We talk to everybody. We don't care who you are, what party you're affiliated with. We talk to everybody. So we're fair to everybody. So Vice Mayor Ben Preston, thank you for taking the time out to come.
The pleasure has been mine. And just let me say again to you guys, Daryl, Wayne, thank you so much for what you're doing. You're providing something that this city has not had, and it's actually growing beyond our city. You're providing, a fairness for people to understand exactly what's happening in their community. You're providing a voice. You're providing those tough questions. Sometimes maybe people don't know how to ask, but you know how to ask, to be able to requisition also support for certain things in there. So thank you so very much. It's been my pleasure to be on here. Let me just say to you all, I'm Vice Mayor here in the city of Deerfield Beach. If you have an issue, you live in District 2, give me a call, 9547-865886. And, this is my pleasure to be able to be here.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Also, Albert Brown said, nice boat. I don't know if you got another boat. Albert Brown said on there, say, nice boat, Commissioner. So I guess you're going to buy a new boat, I guess.
Well, tell him I said thank you.
We've been talking to Vice Mayor Ben Preston. Thank you so very much for joining us here on the Adams Brothers podcast. Stay right where you are. Everybody that's watching right now, we have Mayor Todd Drosky, the mayor of Deerfield Beach, Florida, coming up in about 4 to 5 minutes. So thank you all for watching, and we'll be right back in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Vice Mayor, and good night to you, and God bless you.
Vice Mayor.